Hello there, everyone. How's my audio doing now that we've hit that 3 p.m. mark for me? It's probably different times for some of you. But, welcome back. Another Jeremy Dewitte video. Because, of course, there is. This guy just doesn't stop. Although, technically, this happened before the other incidents. Let me tell you, Miguel. This mic, I love this microphone. I don't know, it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid, and I love it. All right, excellent. So today, the plan is to talk about the Chicago incident. So for those of you who don't know, before Jeremy Dewitte was arrested for impersonating an officer, he was in Chicago, and he threw a bunch of chairs at a tow truck driver. Well, he clarifies to police, I didn't throw it at the tow truck driver, I threw it at the tow truck driver's truck, which isn't much better. Definitely didn't stop them from charging him with criminal activity. Yeah, good times. Now, I don't want to watch. Real World Police put out a video on this, and we're gonna go through it. We're not gonna see all of it. I've gone through it. I've marked down the times that are important. I have a document in front of me that has all the important parts that are worth discussing. And there are a lot of important parts worth discussing, but we're going to be skipping through it a bit. If you haven't seen the original video, if you want the full context, Real World Police is going to be the place to go, for sure. Watch the whole thing. I wouldn't want you guys to not have the full context of what I'm discussing. And then, if we have time after that, if I have time after that, I don't know about you guys, we can go into Jeremy Dewitte's newest video, or Real World Police's newest video on Jeremy Dewitte, which I haven't seen yet. I've intentionally avoided seeing it. It's been difficult because I have been enjoying this immensely. But we can watch that together, and I can comment on it having not seen a single bit of it. Spoiler alert, Jeremy Dewitte lied to the officers and to the judge. Yeah, he does a lot of that, doesn't he? Hello, everyone. That's Nathaniel, Hardstee, Gary, Fire and Roses, Repo Man, My World. How's it going? A lot of regulars here. That's excellent. I don't know. We ready to start this thing off? Gary. Yeah, his wife shows up in this one. I'm not gonna comment. I'm not gonna comment on her. I personally think I would need. She'd have to be a real nice lady. I'll say that. I don't think she's a real nice lady. He did, yes, Nasty Nathaniel. He did lie to investigators later. So he told them he was only detained and then released. And we can definitely discuss that. He he said that he was detained but released, which is true. But then he was brought to the station and booked and then released. So it's possible he thought that was just a detention as well. It's not. If you're put in handcuffs, thrown in the back of a police car, taken to the station, your fingerprints are taken, your statement is taken, you've been arrested. That's an arrest. Now, I assume he thought he had to be held in pretrial confinement for it to count as an arrest. And you'd think as someone who impersonates a police officer, he'd know better. But, that counts as an arrest. And he says, oh, well, they never told me when to see a judge, so I figured the charge would have dropped. It didn't matter. Well, on the paperwork, on the arrest paperwork, it had a date for him to see a judge, and maybe they contacted him later and said, don't show up. It doesn't matter anymore. We're not going to pursue the charges. I don't know. But it definitely doesn't look good. And as far as that being him lying to an investigator or a detective, it's entirely possible that he was just he thought he was right and didn't mean to speak incorrectly about it to the detective. It's possible. I don't think he'd be charged for lying, because it's possible he didn't think he was lying. So, it's a whole thing. Yes, Dewitte saga continues. So, how's it going, South Star? Let's get into it. Why not? Let's talk about it. Now, first, before this video came out, I was already aware of the incident. I didn't realize we were going to get footage of it, but I'm really excited that we did. So we're going to start out. I'm going to show you this right here. This is an article on CWV Chicago. Lakeview, tow truck driver pelted with chairs, threatened with purported pistol. Excellent show of alliteration there. Let's see. This was July 1st, 2019. We got a little picture of Mr. Dewitte there. Police car, tow truck. I assume the vehicle that was being towed. And then left to right, Jeremy Dewitte, a police car, a chair, which is... Oh, the chair is right here. If you can see my mouse, you might not be able to see my mouse. That's a shame. Stand by. No, it says capture. All right. I think I just broke it. Give me a second, folks. I just broke it. Here we go. All right, that's better. Okay. Is my cursor showing up? I don't know. We're just going to work with it. Okay. So, let me read to you. A Florida sex offender is charged with unleashing a torrent of lawn chairs from an apartment balcony in an effort to stop a private towing service from taking a car in Lakeview on Tuesday. Someone had fun with this article. Prosecutors said Jeremy Dewitte, 39, old enough to know better, threw 4 chairs from a 4th floor deck onto a tow truck that was hooking up a vehicle below him in the 3200 block of North Wilton around 4 p.m. Now, I do want to discuss the 4th floor deck. Jeremy Dewitte says it was the 6th floor. People on scene said it was the 6th floor. The police report said the 4th floor. So, it's one of the two. It's not... Someone got it wrong. Doesn't really matter. 4th floor, 6th floor. That's a lot of floors. Moving on. Dewitte reportedly went down to the parking lot and then threw one of the previously tossed chairs at the tow driver again. He missed, police said. Now, Dewitte did say, and we will be discussing this, he did say that he only threw it at the truck. He wasn't throwing it at the driver, which I'm calling baloney on that one. But hey, whatever he says, right? He knows. The chairs damaged the tow truck, and Dewitte then threatened to come downstairs with a pistol, police said. He just... What is he thinking? What is he thinking? Dewitte is charged with misdemeanor simple assault, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and criminal damage to property. He was released on a recognizance bond, meaning he was released on his own, not waiting trial. So, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, pretty sure that's another felony. I don't know if he was convicted of it. Certainly not, I don't know. July isn't a lot of time. It's not a lot of time since it happened, so the conviction might not have happened, especially if he didn't show up to the court date that they had on his paperwork. Now, I don't know if he received another letter in the mail saying, "Hey, don't bother," but he definitely had a trial date or a pre-trial arraignment hearing date, I believe it was. Could be wrong about that on the paperwork. So I don't know what he's talking about when he says, "Oh, no, I was never given a date to show up, so I figured the charges weren't being pursued." Pretty sure they were. But, I don't know. Alright. Anyway. Oh, goodness. There's a cup there. Let's look at the video. Some of you in chat are wild. Alright. Let me move out of the way a little bit. So here we have the video.
Well, then why is he acting
there you go. My audio is working. Excellent. So this beginning part, not super important. It's just a collection of the best bits.
Do whatever you got to do.
And
you apologize.
Again, we're gonna be skipping through a bit of this. And oh yeah, there is a Jeremy Dewitte fan club page on Facebook. If you guys want to keep up on that. As a place to definitely see what's happened with him. All right. Let me see where I was at. All right, so right here, this is a police officer talking to a tow truck driver. And the tow truck driver appears to be saying that Dewitte was throwing 4 chairs at the tow truck driver from the 6th floor balcony and then threatening to come down to the parking lot with a gun. He has firearm choice an airsoft pistol. He can't have a gun. He's a felon, right? So, yeah, let's listen to the tow truck driver say his thing. Throws the first chair, boom, hits the tow truck. Throws the second chair, boom, hits the tow truck. It's a little hard to hear.
I jump out, I try to go into the pop the linkage so I can get the roll and take off. By the time I get out to try to pop the linkage, he throws 2 more chairs.
Throws 2 more chairs.
Hits the back window so hard,
He thinks it busted the window.
So then when I come out from under there, I see him like 2 floors under the top of the building.
2 floors under the top of the building. I don't know how many floors this building has. But again, it's either the 4th or the 6th. Now, we'll be seeing the chair later and talking about it. It's not like a light plastic chair.
And he said, wait till I get down there with my pistol. So he's got a gun. So then when he starts talking to me about the pistol, I'm like, fuck it, the car's not working.
All right. So the tow truck driver, he's saying, and they discuss it later in the video. He's like, look, he threw 4 chairs. Said he was going to get a pistol. Once he said, I'm going to get my pistol, I left. Right? So the tow truck driver, like, drove away. Came back later, like, called the police and said, hey, there's this guy doing these things. Yeah. Oh, he threw the 5th and final chair after the cops pulled up. I think that chair was one he'd already thrown down, but he was already downstairs at the time. We'll wait. We'll see if we get that on video. I don't remember him throwing the 5th chair in this video, but I could be wrong about that. All right, let's see. So DeWitte's wife shows up. She's there on the left. So they admit, right there, she's admitting that chairs were thrown. So that's corroborating the story of the tow truck driver. Not great. Not great.
Where is your husband?
He's coming downstairs.
Okay.
You're right, High Street. He did correct the police officer. So the police thought it was the 4th floor. DeWitte himself said it was the 6th, which is worse.
Your husband's about to be arrested. Your husband's about to be arrested. What is he doing? Do me a favor. Turn around. Hold on.
All right, here we have DeWitte. So DeWitte says that the driver pulled a weapon on him. He later changed that story, saying that the driver pulled a weapon on his wife. The weapon in question was a screwdriver. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's see. Yeah, he's not interested in turning around. Where's my badge? Here's the first indicator that he might be impersonating a police officer. Right now, that's not impersonating a police officer. You never said, where's my police badge? But that's important because from this point on, the police think that he is a police officer and address him as if he is a police officer. He does not correct them until they specifically ask if he's a police officer or not later in the video.
Where's my badge? I have my badge and my information in the car. Florida? Yes. Okay, give us one. You need to come down for us.
He has his badge and his information in his car. What? He has a badge. Folks, he is not a police officer. For those of you who are not aware, he is not a police officer. He's never been a police officer. He desperately wants to be one. He will never be one. He's a registered sex offender and has multiple felonies. Okay? Can't be a police officer when you have those things. His badge is basically a replica of a Los Angeles police badge. It doesn't have Los Angeles police on it. It has motor officer or something like that. But the design, the background design, is the Los Angeles police badge design. All right? If police officers see that, they're going to think police officer. And then the paperwork he's talking about, what paperwork? His paperwork is not going to allow him to throw chairs at a tow truck driver. There's nothing about the paperwork that's going to be like, oh, no, what he's doing was okay. His paperwork is for a funeral security company, something he's not even licensed to be security for. I have no idea what he's talking about. I wish we had seen the paperwork, whatever he's talking about. It does not make sense. Fire and Roses, yes. We'll get into this description of that the screwdriver. Yeah, question. The cops checked to see if his badge was made of chocolate. They should have. They should have asked to see the badge. They should have been like, yes, let's see it. Curious. Dewitte, I don't know if he's being held in jail. He had bond posted, so he may have paid it, but he's definitely going through trial right now. I think that from a law enforcement perspective, I think that his behavior does stem from some issues. I don't think they're significant enough to keep him out of trouble. But I think he has this unusual desire to be an authority figure. And I assume that stems from something in his life. And I'm no mental expert. I've taken classes on psychology and sociology just for fun. But I honestly think there's something going on with him, because he's been doing this from an early age, from at least the age of 18, where he was trying to impersonate a police officer. So, the name of my mic, it's a Rockville mic. If you go on Amazon and you just look up gold mic, you'll find this. So, are there out? Oh yeah, no, there are tons of charges on him right now, like tons of charges. So, I wouldn't revoke his bond. Oh, yeah, no, there's a lot. He's in a lot of trouble right now, and I'm sure his lawyers are real sick of dealing with it because things keep popping up. Oh, he had bond because his wife is pregnant at the time of his bond hearing. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked into it, so we'll see. He's definitely in trouble. I would be amazed if he got away with all of this without a pretty significant charge. He might plead innocent. If he pleads guilty, he could probably get away with some misdemeanor stuff. But he's saying he's innocent right now. He honestly thinks that he didn't do anything wrong, which isn't true. So, I mean, simply from the perspective of his traffic violations, forgetting or disregarding the entire thing about him impersonating an officer, if you threw that away, you still have a significant amount of traffic infractions. You have him banging on a car, which is its own issue. So it's a whole thing. Oh, he's advertising for motor cops again on Craigslist. If you find me a link, we will definitely look at that. That's amazing. Anyway, let's keep going. Please find me a link on that. All right, where was I?
Stop him first.
Oh yeah, the wiretapping as well. He might get away with the wiretapping, depending on if it was from his body camera or not. There is a defense to it, but he's still going to have to fight that. He could win it though. He could.
We just talked to his supervisor, and they said that he was instructed by not the property owner, by the female, the little girl that came out and yelled at my wife.
Gives you a house address? Ooh, that's dangerous. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna pull that up on stream because I don't want to be I wouldn't really be responsible. I don't want to encourage anyone to harass him, right? And you can do it on your own time. I don't recommend it for legal reasons, but get my chair stuck. But you can do that, and I'll probably look that up later. Oh yeah, give me that link. While that link is being posted, I do want to mention what Dewitte's talking about right now. He's saying, look, the property owner wasn't the one who towed my car. It was someone else. So he's renting an apartment right now. I don't know if it's like an Airbnb situation or what, because we know he doesn't live in Chicago. The person he's renting the property from said that he can park where he's parking. The owner of the building, which isn't the owner of the apartment. So it's multiple apartments in one building. The apartment owner said, yeah, you can definitely park there. The person who owns that parking lot was like, no, he cannot. So the person who owns that building and parking lot absolutely has the ability to tow his vehicle because he did not get permission from them. The person he got permission from does not have the right, I guess, to give him that permission. Like, their permission doesn't really matter. So it's a whole thing. Anyway, let's keep going. We're about to find out what the weapon was.
She's the one who called the number.
downstairs like
She's the one that called the number, not the supervisor. So when she came running down here, because I was getting the phone to come behind her, he had the screwdriver in his hand. So I threw the chair and it hit the boom of the truck. So then he drove away. Then she comes out and starts screaming at us, saying that she's the supervisor. Some girl that lives here.
Yeah, so it was a screwdriver. Apparently, police have video on this because they tell him, like, look, like, the video doesn't show what you're talking about. They sort of hint at it. The problem is every time they start to explain what they mean, Dewitte interrupts them. So I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about. We will get into that, though. Let's see. Skipping ahead, because it's just very long screwdriver in the back of the truck. So he says that the driver picked up a screwdriver and started going towards his wife. Police seem to think that that's not what happened. And I think there was security footage. I can't confirm that, though. Oh, yeah, good point about the shirt. We're actually going to be... yeah, let's go back to that shirt. So look at that, tactical division on his shirt. Ugh. Like, nothing about this dude is tactical. Anyway, moving forward. To 355 is what I have written down. There's his wife.
Yes, sir. I want to file charges right now for pulling a weapon on my wife. Officer, he pulled a weapon on my wife. You don't throw
Officer!
a chair at somebody, all right? He pulled a weapon on my wife.
Can I get the access to
Notice his wife never really says. I mean, not to the level. So he's like desperate to tell police officers that a weapon was pulled on his wife. His wife doesn't really talk much about it. I think she might have brought it up very briefly, but he's like, he has to justify his actions. But his wife doesn't really seem to care that much about it. Now, Chicago cops were really nice to him, and they do believe he's a police officer, saying, look, we're not going to alert your work or anything. And there are a couple reasons. One, just professional courtesy. Like, they're still going to charge him. Like, him supposedly being a police officer, which we know he isn't. Officers, the Chicago officers didn't know it at the time. They want to treat him with professional courtesy. They're still going to screw him over. But there's a political aspect to it, too, because no department wants to be responsible for screwing over another police officer. And they can assume if he's a police officer, he would have a good reason for throwing chairs, right? He knows what a weapon looks like and what assault looks like and what it looks like when someone's about to be attacked. So maybe there's a good reason. But a police officer should know why he's being arrested, which they sort of discussed, like, why is he being so stupid about this? He should know better. He should know what the process is. So there's the professional courtesy, there's the politics of it, of if they're wrong, they don't want to, because another department could really try to screw them over. And then there's being his friend, right, to get him to be cooperative, which is a super common tactic, right? If you have the ability to be someone's friend, you can get a lot more out of them as far as what the story is. If he trusts them to have his best interests at heart, he's going to be a lot more honest and open with them, which is going to get them a lot more information, which can make their job easier. So it's a whole thing. There's a reason that they're being like this to him, and it does make sense. It's not that they weren't going to charge him because they thought he's a police officer. That at no point appears to have crossed their mind. And the cops, you're right, Hartsey. The cops should know a real officer would never act like that. And they are throughout this video perpetually confused. They're like, why would he act like? Is he a police officer? He said he was a police officer. He didn't say he was a police officer. He said that he had a badge. They later ask him if he's a police officer, or they allude to him being a police officer. He never corrects them. So it's definitely, the idea is reinforced in their minds that he is one. But they do say, like, he should know better. What is he doing? Why is he being so crazy? Yeah, he was a medic at a wrestling event. That's a whole other thing. We can discuss that in a bit. It was a weird video. Let them play with their real badges.
You have to take my phone. This is crazy. Rania! You need to file a statement. He pulled the screw screwdriver on you, right?
So he's still trying to be like, hey, like, make sure they know he pulled a screwdriver. And his wife never really goes gung-ho with that story, which leads me to believe that she wasn't as threatened as he thinks she was. But again, I don't have footage of it. I don't have any information other than this right here and that news article that we looked at. Yeah, the ambulance did have no supplies, which is weird. And now it is let's discuss that briefly. It is WWE. WWE is a show. It's an entertainment event. I mean, the wrestling moves are I mean, the physicality of it is real, but the fights are predetermined. I never got into WWE. Recently, I've sort of started to watch it because I think it's hilarious. I don't go out of my way. If I see it, I'll be like, oh, all right, cool. Oh, the nice little clip. I don't watch the full matches or anything like that. I can name you probably 2 wrestlers from it, but it is an entertainment thing, right? Good job, me, with my words. It's entertainment, and so I don't know if Dewitte has an ambulance on hand, or if they sort of just said, hey, we know that you're in the area of where we're doing this show. You run this company. Would you be willing to be like a little stand-in actor for us? So I would love to have more information on that, exactly why there's an ambulance. And I know that the driver of the ambulance got pulled over, and he wasn't licensed to drive at all because he hadn't paid child support, and so his license was revoked or suspended. Now, E-Tops, you're right. I don't have footage because I'm recycling material from real content providers. Now, here's the difference: is Real World Police has been kind enough to find this footage. However, I am a police officer, or I was a police officer, so I have a good perspective on the legality of these issues, which is why I'm discussing these. Although I'm not the one who acquired this footage, I could have. I didn't. But now I'm giving my perspective on it. Yeah, so we have Real World Police is right there. There's there's my mouse. There's even a watermark. I have it right here, right? I'm not at all trying to hide the fact that I'm using someone else's footage, but I'm using it to make a commentary on it. So, I worked patrol. I did area security. I was a counter-narcotics investigator. I was a general crimes investigator. For those of you wondering what my experience is, Metro State is hiring. I've been tempted to contact them, see if they'll hire me for fun. I'm real tempted one of these days to call the phone number that Dewitte has given out. Now, if he was smart, he'd have changed it by now. But there's still a number listed on his website. And I think on stream, I might give it a call. I have to be real careful about it because the state I'm in and the state he's in, they're both two-party consent states, meaning that all parties have to consent. So I'll call if this happens. I'll call. I'll be like, hey, I'm with the media, which is true. I am with the media. This is media. I'm likely to do an interview to get your side of the story on these charges. And if he says yes, I'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to be recording this interview for so that I can get your statement as accurately as possible. If he agrees to it, then I'll put it on speaker. Although Nasty Nathaniel is telling me that his phone number goes straight to voicemail every time. I think he does have an email, though, maybe. So I might be able to email and get a different number. Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. But I'd like to try on stream at the very least. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. We're not going to do it now because I don't want to use my personal phone. Because if he sees it, if he sees this video somehow... let me get that to you in a moment. If he sees this video and he sees my phone number, I don't want him to trace it back to me and give me trouble. Not that anything I would be doing is illegal. It's just I'd rather not be harassed in my own home. You know, my email at Gmail. Nope, gmail.com. That should get you to my email if you guys want to contact me directly about anything, as opposed to leaving a comment on my YouTube videos. That is the place to go. I also have a Twitter, at Sergeant Blue Bacon, that I check occasionally. It hasn't been terribly popular, so I don't bother with it too much. Anyway, let's keep watching the video, because we're getting off track.
Tell that officer you want to file a complaint. And he pulled that screwdriver.
Yeah, he's telling her to file a complaint. Get out of here with your ads. Come on, guys, this is... God, God, this makes me so mad. Like, at least pretend to know what's going on. Like, as a police officer, if this happened to me, I'd be like, oh, I understand. You think I threw chairs at a truck? I understand why I'm being handcuffed and being put in the back of a patrol car.
We were protecting ourselves.
Yeah, you're protecting yourself. There still has to be an investigation.
This guy is a police officer.
Hold on. What was that?
This guy is a police officer.
This guy is a police officer. The police think he is a police officer. They think this. Now, the question becomes the legality of this. He wasn't charged with impersonating a police officer here. Your eyes. He wasn't charged with impersonating a police officer. And that's probably because at the end of it he did come clean. In the manner in which he came clean. But I do want you guys to know that the police 100% thought he was a police officer at this point. Later, they certainly started to doubt it. But yeah, that's a problem. And that should show you how easy it is to just... why would you say he's a badge that will get him out of this, right? Like, oh, I know what I'm doing, I have a badge. Your badge doesn't do anything for you, dude. I wish he had shown them the badge. And Ian, I would love to know if he had wrote any fake traffic tickets. I doubt it. But if he did, oh boy, that's an entirely different charge under Florida law. Actually putting out paperwork on it. It's definitely not a good thing. Yep. Your husband... So they say, he's a police officer. Your husband is a police officer. I assume she's like, he's not a police officer. I go, no, your husband is. And she goes, no, he's an officer in Metro State. So now they're confused. But she isn't really articulating it very well. So they're still confused. What? I missed that part the first time I went through. So they're saying, let me show that, Speckle Belly. They're saying, like, look, his badge says police on it, doesn't it? They show her a picture. So apparently they got a picture of his badge, and it says police. So this might be a different badge from the one he had. See, look at that. They're showing a picture. Oh, man. I wish we had that picture. You know what? I might file a request for information on this. I don't know. You guys think I should file a request for the reports on this? I don't think we'll get much out of it. Let me answer some questions in the comments. Have you ever had other cops from a different agency show you their credentials? No. I've never had that happen. Which is good, because if an officer ever tried that, my response would be, well, you're a police officer, you should know better, so you're getting that ticket, or whatever, right? No, I can't think of a single time it happened. I've been in a vehicle. All right, let me tell you a time when one of my friends tried to do that. It was, we were heading towards a friend's house to, have some beers and, watch a football game, something like that. And there were a few of us in the car. We had a sober driver, but we had a couple beers already. And one of our guys had taken a few shots. So, and I'm not much of a drinker, guys. But he apparently, he was down in some alcohol, so he was drunk. And we were trying to get to this house by following another one of our friends who knew where the house was. We didn't know where the house was. And they were speeding, and we were, accelerating to catch up, and a police officer pulled us over. Or I'm in the back, like, I don't care. I'm not in trouble. I'm just a passenger, right? The driver's the one in trouble. It sucks to be him. And I knew the officer. I didn't say anything because I didn't want him to realize it was me in the back of a car, you know, with this drunk idiot to my left. And drunk idiot goes, we're just trying to go home. We're not, because he didn't want to be like, hey, we're going to a party. He's like, we're just going home to our own homes. Just, we're police. And I was in the back, just, no, you can't. Don't tell a police officer you're police. And his response was, as expected, oh, you're police? Well, then you should know what speeding is, shouldn't you? And he ended up going, I'm going to follow you home. You're going to go home. I'm going to follow you to make sure you get home safe and that you don't speed. And he did. We had to turn around and go back home. So we ended up texting the person, like, hey, what's the address of this so we can go and watch the game. It was a whole thing. It was... I mean, he has officers... We weren't speeding that much. He has officer's discretion not to write that ticket, though. And I laid into the dude. I'm like, you do not use the fact that you are a police officer to try to get out of anything. And the drunk guy wouldn't have been in trouble anyway, because he wasn't the one who'd been charged. So, yeah, is it an ethics violation? It was definitely an ethical concern, and I laid into the dude. Is it illegal? No. So, it's a thing. Do cops really take their badge with them when they go on vacation? Some do. Depends on if they have jurisdiction where they're vacationing. So an FBI agent might, because if they run into trouble, they're probably going to want to help out, or they might want to help out. If they're a sheriff and they're vacationing within the county where they work, they might take the badge because they have jurisdiction with that county. I've accidentally taken my badge on vacation. I had it in a jacket pocket. I had my handcuffs in one pocket, and my badge in another, and I didn't realize it. I went on a plane with handcuffs, and I was like, security. I have handcuffs. I have handcuffs in my jacket. Is that a problem? Do I have to throw them away? I don't want to throw them away because that's like handcuffs are like $20, and that's not that bad. Like, I can afford another $20 pair of handcuffs. I'd just rather not. And they're like, no, you can take handcuffs on a plane. It's fine as long as you don't have a knife. I'm like, I could probably do more damage with handcuffs than I could with, some penknife. In Speckleberry, it's definitely frowned upon. I was furious at this dude, but I had to be like, keeping my cool while we're in the back of this car. But once we left, I was like, I laid into the dude. John McClane did it. We know those were documentaries. So yeah, some officers will take a badge depending on what kind of officer they are and whether or not they forget they have the badge in their jacket pocket. Yeah, he could have pretended to be that U.S. Marshal. That is a fun video. All right, anyway, let's get back to this one. I'm already getting distracted.
Badge, right? Whatever he does, he should know better. You don't throw a chair just to get the attention.
I know he was trying to
He should know better.
I ran like this, and he was trying to defend me. Because my first instinct, I was going downstairs.
Probably pull out a knife
and
or
he
something,
pulled out
thinking that
something.
you're gonna end up
He
doing
pulled out.
something to him.
I was just trying to knock on his window.
So she approached the driver, right? Dewitte is saying the driver was coming at his wife with a screwdriver, was advancing on her. She's saying that she knocked on the window, and the driver picked up a screwdriver. If I was startled, and I had a screwdriver next to me, I'd probably pick it up too, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with that. Now, did he? I'm gonna cut you. Did he threaten her with it? There is absolutely no evidence other than DeWitte's statement that that's what happened. Now, he was on the 6th floor, so do you think that he saw it better than his wife did? I don't. And his wife certainly not seeming to indicate that he was, coming at her.
Get his attention, and he pulled something.
Yeah, that's not intent. The driver.
Yeah, he pulled something. I'm like, oh, you
She didn't even know what he pulled.
It is right over here. I gotta hear that story. See, I didn't know that story. Get his ATM.
Oh, he could go to jail for that. Why would he want to do that?
The officers are still confused.
He uses a screwdriver to get job.
Sir, he was coming the other way.
All right,
around
you're just kind of going as you talk.
It's true. Yeah, you get the recording. Officer, this is not right. Give me a lieutenant.
They do discuss that, Gary.
Come on, man.
They do discuss that he had the screwdriver in his hand to remove something. But Dewitte interrupts him before he can explain all of that. We'll get to that.
Man, this isn't right. We were protecting ourselves. You're a federal
This is
agent,
before the
sir?
Florida arrest.
No, I'm a state-certified agent.
All right, hold on.
You're a federal agent, you said?
So they're like, oh, you're a federal agent.
No, I'm a state-certified agent.
He's not a state certified anything. He doesn't even have a dream badge, bunny. All right. He's not certified anything. He doesn't even have a security license. Maybe at this time he did. Maybe. But I doubt it. I don't think he did. Y'all crazy in this comment section. I love it. I was saying something. Yeah, so they ask like, "Oh, you're state certified, or you're a federal agent?" No, I'm a state certified agent. That still sounds like police officer, and you know he's doing that on purpose because he wants to sound like a police officer. It's dangerous. You can get in a lot of trouble for that.
State-certified agent, okay.
They have no idea what he's talking about.
Hold a weapon on my wife. What are we doing? She can file a statement. Let me talk to the sergeant. Come on, officer. Okay, listen. Give me 1 second, all right?
They're so mad at him right now.
Take me to jail. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get a sergeant for you. You want to talk?
Oh, he already asked for the lieutenant. Where was that?
He pulled certified. Yes. Officer, this is not right. Give me a lieutenant.
Give me a lieutenant. There it is. All right, let's skip to right about.
Long screwdriver, orange handle. Come on. How do I know he has it if he didn't pull it on me? Oh, he wants to talk to you.
This right here.
Stay certified federal agents.
So they still think he's a federal agent. I don't know, because he's not clarifying, which he absolutely should be. Like, that's a pretty serious problem.
Well, then why is he acting like such a moron?
Why is he acting like such a moron? Hold on, let's go back.
Stay certified federal agents. Well, then why is he acting like such a moron? And just trying to make up shit.
Oh, man. They're having their doubts right now. Now, why would they think that he's a police officer, though? Is it because he had a badge that said police on it and said he was a state certified agent? You think that's it? That could be it. That's just crazy. There's no way a person could reasonably think that you were a police officer because you had a police badge that said you're a state certified agent. Nah. He looks totally sane for Florida standards. Anyway.
You gotta talk to this guy then and see if you can talk him to apologize, do whatever you got to do, so he doesn't press the charge.
So this, so he's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he thinks he's a police officer. That's a dangerous thing. I do not agree with that at all. Be saying, look, if you get down on your knees and beg, basically, to this driver, he might not press charges. Because the police officers know that if he gets charged with this, he's probably out of a job. And no one wants to see a guy out of a job. But you got to face the consequences of your actions. And I don't agree with them being this... trying to help him out this much. Yeah, why are they so friendly? I mean, there's the professional courtesy, sure. But they went farther than I would think is really correct. And it certainly seems to think that since they believe he's a police officer, they're willing to help him in a way that they wouldn't help others. And I will absolutely... Doesn't look great. It's not a good look for them. It's kind of upsetting to me. But now you know I don't really support what they're doing here. It's a whole thing.
Charges at this time. You're going to have to eat humble pie. Yes. Because you let your temper get the best of you in this one. But Sergeant, is the screwdriver...
All right, here we go.
The screwdriver was in the... He uses it to take... Everything's on camera.
He uses it to take everything's on camera. Dewitte interrupts him
take off.
right there. So we don't know. But unfortunately, Dewitte, in his big mouth, decide to, interrupt before we can get the full story. So, he used it to take something off. So it appears, as someone said in the comment before, he was using it for work purposes. There was nothing, he didn't try to murder someone with it, of course. And he says it's all on camera. So I assume someone during one of these jump cuts has checked security footage of this building and said, no, there's nothing like what Dewitte is saying. So Dewitte's story doesn't seem to be a valid legal defense.
When I called his supervisor just now, they said he wasn't trying to hook up our vehicle. So when he came back, we didn't...
Well, that doesn't matter. What matters right now, what we're talking about is the threats and all that stuff. And if you're being aggressive and wild, you got to control your temper.
Roger.
So why don't we talk to him and see if you can talk to him?
All right, this is important right here.
About being snotty.
Yes, sir.
And just eat apple pie. And I'm doing this because you're an officer. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm doing this because you're an officer. Is that correct? Yes, Sergeant. Again, DeWitt knows that these officers have been calling him a federal agent or whatever. He has not. Oh, that's interesting. Give me a second. I'll discuss that. Or I'll bring it up. He has not at this point clarified that he's not a police officer. His badge apparently says police. He's been calling himself an officer. He says he's state certified, but won't explain what that means, or hasn't explained what that means. They asked him if he's a federal agent. He didn't give a good explanation of why he is not. They call him an officer. He says yes. Now, in his head, he is an officer. He's a Metro State officer. Chicago cops don't know what the heck Metro State is. So when they say officer, if a police officer says, "Are you an officer?" they're probably meaning, "Are you a police officer?" Context clues. Now, he has a legal defense. DeWitt has a legal defense. He's not even been charged with impersonating a police officer. His defense could be, well, I never said police, but the counter argument is every single thing that happened would lead a reasonable person to believe that you were indicating that you were a police officer up until the end. We'll get to the end, which is probably what saved him from charges. He never said he was a cop, but he never corrected them. And there was enough information going back and forth. He should have realized that they thought he was a police officer. So Hardesty, you said you can use a screwdriver to knock the transmission to neutral to tow. That's very likely what's happening. That's good, yeah. So Nasty Nathaniel was filmed Chicago police officer before. Despite the reputation, my interaction with CPD officers is often positive. That's good. And I hear horror stories about Chicago, and I think there are some dangerous areas of Chicago where the police have to be a little on their toes, but I've never dealt with Chicago police officers, so I couldn't say.
You don't want to jeopardize your job.
Don't want to jeopardize your job.
On this one and just say you're sorry, okay? Yes, and we'll just give them a report. Hopefully it will go. So,
I do want to say that him saying he's an officer, all of this, it sure looks like, what's the statute? It's Personation peace officer under Illinois statute. That's Illinois statute, chapter 720, section 17-2, paragraph B, subsection 3, if you want to look at it yourself. And that is a class 4 felony. That's a few years in prison. We can look that up. And it's pretty simple stuff as far as the actual statute. I think this is it. Fall personation, subsection, what I have it written down as? Paragraph B, subsection 2. There's a lot of information here. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Don't know where my phone is. We're just going to ignore it. Well, there's a whole lot of information here. This is the problem. There's oh, man. No? No? Hold on. No, that's not it. There's just so much. No, that's for medals. This one's a lot longer than the one I looked at. That's like the whole thing. Stand by, guys. Talk among. Oh, here we go. All right, false personation. It's probably the same thing, just looks better. False personation of public officials and employees. A person commits a false personation if he or she knowingly and falsely represent himself or herself to be any of the following. And then subsection 2 is a public officer or public employee or an official or employee of the federal government. So he is certainly, if not doing that, very close to doing that. So that's what I would charge him under if I were to charge him. Now, I'm not saying that's entirely correct. I'd have to look at statutes about it, or not statutes, case law regarding other charges. But how many years is he looking at? Oh boy, a lot, many years. False personation. I think he was charged with a few Class 3 felonies. So let's look at Florida Class 3 felony, because every state is a little different. All right, third-degree felony. Sorry, yeah, third degree. Felonies to the third degree are the least serious type of felonies in Florida, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. I think he has at least 3 charges of third-degree felonies. So that's possibly up to 15 years. I'd have to check, but he's looking at years in prison for sure. Yeah, imagine the polygraph for Dewitte, the psych eval. Oh. I kind of want to call him and be like, "Hey, I'm a police department. I like what I see. Let's interview you and see what that's like." All right. Let's keep going.
Go that route. How are you with that? Sounds good.
He kills me.
Well,
All right.
Sir.
So now they're like, "What do we do with this dude?" We're confused.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So he has because he damaged the vehicle. That's criminal damage right there.
So they're confirming, yeah, criminal damage. We're going to charge him for that. In case you're wondering. Now we move ahead. They talk amongst themselves.
Is that all right by you? Sorry.
That's okay.
It's good. All right.
I mean, if he's willing to apologize, if that...
They're talking about having him apologize to avoid charges.
I didn't know who you were.
Now, if the driver wants to press charges, those charges are getting pressed. But the police officers are like, look, if you don't want to get charged with this and put your job in jeopardy, because again, they still think he's a police officer, you better make him not want to press those charges.
At first, and then when you're trying to allow it, when you
Skip ahead.
He's not pulling.
Blah, blah, blah.
Calm down. Stop. Listen to me for a minute. Do you think he'd actually pull a screwdriver on a woman? Come on.
Yeah. I don't like that logic.
A quarter of the size. That's silly. No, I'm sorry.
Carlos, did you really? Did you really work for Metro State? So Carlos Rios here is saying that he worked for Metro State for a short while, and then quit when asked to ride an old Kawasaki, which is one of the types of bikes they use. They use Kawasaki and BMW, maybe, I think. When asked to ride 100 miles, or 100, I assume 100 miles per hour in the rain. Oh man, Carlos, I have so many questions. Did he? So he encouraged you to violate the law, the traffic law, anyway. I guess it's my first question. My second question is, how did he represent himself to you, to his employees, as a police officer? Oh my God! And he thought that statute, the one that allows him to be a funeral escort, he thought that statute allowed his traffic infractions. It's my third question. State agents, yeah, that's dangerous. Carlos, I might be interested in interviewing you live if you wanted to take me up on that offer. Not today, because I have other things I prepared. You gave us all the copy of the statute. Carlos, would you be willing, and feel free to say no, would you be willing at some point in the future to be interviewed on my Discord? All right. In that case, send me an email and we can discuss this through my email. It's up to you. I don't want to encourage you in front of all these people where you might say something you don't really mean, peer pressure and whatnot. Pretty sure this is my email. If you send me an email, right there, we can. Yeah, I'm a real reporter, guys. I'm finally real media. We can do that, but it's entirely up to you. Anyway, oh man, that'd be amazing. I would be very happy about that. Email address is in the comments. I don't know if it shows up as an email address. It's sergeantbluebacon@gmail.com, no spaces. Let me confirm that that's my email for a second. Yes, all right, it is. I want to make sure I got the spelling right, because I'm really interested in this. So, I hope it's showing up. I hope it's showing up in the chat. I know. Okay, perfect. I know sometimes the chat automatically hides websites, which is a shame. Yeah, I have it. It's set up to automatically flag some messages. So if your messages aren't showing up, it might have automatically flagged them. Perfect. I look forward to it, Carlos. Where were we? What?
Brother, I swear I am sorry.
We got to do the report. And you got to cover that damage for him. You know. I understand you're frustrated, but you got to calm down with the temper.
So the tow truck driver in this bit right here, he's like, I never saw his wife. I don't know what they're talking about. So, patrol shift sergeant. I was never the sergeant on shift. I was never the, we had a patrol supervisor, is what we called it. I was a sergeant, but I was not the shift sergeant. We had someone on my shift who was a higher ranking person than myself, and so they were usually that. And I was an investigator more than I was a patrolman. So, it all worked out in the end. But I've definitely been the ranking officer on a scene before, particularly when it came to domestic violence incidences. That's something I had a lot of training on. I had specialized training on domestic violence, and laughing at the comments. So I did specialized training on domestic violence, and then a lot of my stuff was also large scenes over $1,000. Things that weren't quite the level of federal agent stuff, but definitely more than your patrol level stuff. So my agency, I was military police, so we had staff sergeants that were generally the patrol supervisor, the shift sergeant. And before you say, oh, military police isn't real police, we enforced law on both military and civilian within our territorial jurisdiction, because I had this conversation with someone earlier. We were real police. I'm not saying we were better than your standard civilian police, but yes, our rank structure is slightly different than you traditionally have. All right, let me see. Where was I? There we go.
This is the best of all things.
All right, we're going to skip ahead, because this is just a bunch of boring nonsense. Where they're like, he can't be aggressive like this. Just skip to a statement made by the tow truck driver here.
Where were you at?
So he's just giving his story again.
Oh, somebody who's walking.
They've taken him out of handcuffs because the driver's like, I guess I don't have to press charges.
Assaulted you? Well, that's an assault.
Here we go. Hold on.
Yeah, he threw 4 before I even left. He threw 4. When I went in there, I popped the linkage. It wouldn't roll because it's...
Yeah, he's talking about popping the linkage. So I assume that's what you guys are talking about. And I'm no sorry, I'm reading the comments. I'm no expert on mechanical vehicle parts and transmissions, and I don't really know too much about that, unfortunately. I'd love to. I wish I did. But unfortunately, I don't. So he's talking about... Let's see that again.
Before I even left. He threw 4. When I went in there, I popped the linkage.
Yeah, pop the linkage. So I tell me if I'm wrong, but that sounds like something that he would have used that screwdriver for. And you're right. Well, it's 31 Bravo. Very close, though. Closer than most people get. 31 Bravo, real police. Yes. We have our limitations that civilian police wouldn't have. The hiring process, yes, the military police hiring process is a little easier from what I've heard. I hear horror stories about people applying to civilian police agencies and how much, not horror stories, but just compared to, like, I didn't have to do a polygraph to get into military police. I mean, the background checks, there were some serious background checks, but I didn't have to do the interviews and the polygraph and all that nonsense. So I would definitely agree with you on that. Hey. Well, you're saying he almost got off on this, then he berated the guy after the cuffs were taken off. The police officers, I think, actually realized, like, even without the guy not wanting to press charges, the fact that he endangered lives, like, they can't ignore that. They're talking about they use a word for it. We'll get to that.
The electronic, the new trucks. Right. When I got out, then he started saying he was going to come down with his pistol. And that time I'm like, hey, I got 9 kids. I'm not getting shot for no.
He's got 9 kids. 9 kids. Good for him. That's more than I would want. I'll tell you that right now. 9 is more than I would want. But, good for... Whew. I think 31 Bravo, I want to say you have to be 20 and a half when you get in. And that way when you graduate from OSA, which is the combination of basic and AIT, you are 21. So, yeah, I think for military police it is still 21. Is it? It was when I went in. That's what they told me when I went in. I never checked people's ages. We're going to look that up. How old to be... Because they might have changed that. Oh my goodness, you only had to be 18 years old. Or am I thinking 20 and a half then? Was that what it used to be? Ooh. Yeah, let me tell you guys. Going through basic... And when I say basic, I mean OSA. Basic is just easier for people to understand. 18-year-old kids, and for some of you who are around the age of 18, you think that's not a big deal. I was 22 when I went through my military training. And I was looking at these kids, and they felt like kids. 18 years old is, in my opinion, a pretty scary age to be putting people through military training. There are some of them I honestly was worried about. And, I mean, they improved. By the end of it, I was like, all right, these guys are a little bit better. But 18 is young. For those of you who don't think 18 is young, those of you around that age, 18 is young to go through the type of stuff that they are training you to do. It's a little scary. Stress cards. Yeah, stress cards have appeared. I didn't get stress cards. The training has changed from what it used to be. It used to be drill sergeants could just straight up punch you in the face. And they've changed that dramatically. And that's because it turns out that doesn't actually train you any better than a more traditional learning environment. Now, it's still very stressful, and that's to get you ready for the stresses of combat and, you know, other military-related things. It's not all military stuff is combat. But everyone gets trained a little bit to deal with, you know, some combat. And it is stressful. And, you know, basic is stressful. But, yeah, now they have stress cards. And I don't entirely agree with it. I think that... I think that if you can't handle the stress of basic, you might want to pursue something else. Yeah, no, you're right. We don't have to spit shine the boots. I'm getting so distracted. It's great. We don't wear the those fancy leather boots anymore unless you are airborne. The boots are very nice, though. The Army boots. You ever get the chance to go to an Army surplus store and grab some of their boots? They're pretty nice. I like them. I definitely appreciate it. Voice screening is definitely Dewitte's cell phone. Ooh. Oh, I'm tempted to call. We're going to, one of these days, one of these live streams, we're going to call. We're definitely doing it. And if that doesn't work, we'll send him an email. Let's see if we can get a call later. All right, let's keep going. I keep getting distracted. One of these days, I'm just going to have to do the live stream where you guys can ask me anything. Where was I? 9 kids, that's right. Oh, man.
Well, they were here. That's why I said, you got balls. He's still throwing them.
He's just throwing chairs left and right. All right, 1649 is what I'm looking for.
Sergeant, Sergeant. Please, Sergeant.
That's my new ringtone right there. I'm thinking about it. What do you guys think? Should I make that my ringtone?
Sergeant. Sergeant. Please, Sergeant.
Jimmy. Yeah, boot camp is tough, but can you shut down I-95 for a Corvette rally? No, you can't. You're right, I can't. Oh, man. Yeah, Dewitte says in the video where he's recording the woman who made a complaint against him that his personal number is his dispatch center. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Oh, don't worry, Hardstee. The ones who still do combat, oh boy, if you even tried, like, they might be required to offer you that. If you ask for a stress card, they're gonna ruin you. Now, for other things like cook, musician, those are the ones I think of when I think of non-combat. Like, I get the stress cards. They're not going to be seeing direct combat, right? I'm pretty sure the musicians, their combat training is basically grab your instrument and run to cover, right? They're not doing squad tactics. They're not doing, line file wedge, bow drill 1 alpha. For those of you who are familiar with those things, they're not doing all of that. From what I understand, because I talked to someone about this, the band, and I love the fact that we have a band. Don't get me wrong, but the band's training, could be wrong about this. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just, incoming mortar strike, take cover. Which is fair. Which is absolutely fair. So I understand stress cards for someone like that MOS. But for a combat MOS, oh no. If you ask for a stress card, oh boy. You're going to get wrecked.
You're not going to call your work or nothing, but you're going to get them in the car.
All right.
And then you threw a chair when the officers are still around.
Yeah. They're talking about, I'm not going to call your work. They still think he's a police officer. What else? All right, here we're about to see one of the chairs.
That's too much.
Look at that. You hear him clanging that around? That is a metal chair. That's going to do some damage if it hits you. And he threw 4 of these from a 6th floor. Maybe 4th floor, depending on who you talk to. It's definitely incredibly dangerous. Like, if these were plastic lawn chairs, okay, whatever. It's still a problem. These are metal chairs. That could kill someone if it hit you wrong. Or right, depending on your point of view.
Realize the gravity.
I swear the job told me they didn't know who he was. So we thought he was stealing the truck.
Yeah, I know he was. I thought he was stealing the truck. Okay. All right, let's move ahead.
It is, it doesn't justify.
So right now they're starting to figure out, like, he's not a cop, is he? Nah, he's not a cop. He can't be a cop.
That's one chair.
So as far as you know, he's not a cop.
Boom.
Okay.
So finally, he said to one of the police officers, "No, I am not a police officer." So now they're starting to, they're starting to figure it out.
First he said he was a police officer.
At first he said he was a police officer. He never said he was a police officer. He said he was an officer in a badge that apparently said police, which is enough to make someone think, "Oh, police officer." So at this point, the police are like, "What on earth is going on?" I would be confused if this was me. This is something you have to get to the bottom of now, and they do. Changed his mind, said he was a federal special agent or something. They're still not sure.
Can't tell people you're the police.
I didn't say
You can't tell people you're the police. He says, "I didn't say I was the police."
I swear to God. Rania, where's my... Sorry.
I swear to God. Oh, it's all on camera, dude. Yeah, you never said you were a police officer necessarily, but you said you're an officer. When they asked if you're a police officer, you said yeah, or you said yes. I don't know. Look, I would have been tempted to charge him with impersonating an officer. I really would have. This right here is probably what saved him, though.
Yelling, this is why you got in trouble. Throwing chairs all the way up there. Could have killed somebody.
Sergeant, I never said I was police. I said I was Metro State. I have my badge and ID in my wallet. I'm Metro State in Orlando, Florida. I'm not a police officer. I'm a state-approved certified agent for the state for what we...
He's not state-approved. He's state-approved in the sense that there's a statute that allows him to escort funerals. Not in the way that he thinks he does. He can. The state approval is that statute. He is not certified through the state, though, to my knowledge. At this point, I know when he was arrested in Florida, he was not certified as security. I don't know if he was at this time. I sincerely doubt it. Oh, Ed Speaks, what's a stress card? Basically, so basic training, AIT, OSUT, which is one-stage unit training, which is what I went through. It's a very stressful period, especially the first 3 weeks, which is called red phase. It's designed to be very stressful. It's designed to break you down. It's designed to prepare you for how terrifying combat is. And so you should be able to act without thinking when it comes to what you've been trained in. So the basic training is designed to train you in a manner that this is what you're going to do in a stressful environment, and it's great. It works. It's a good system that they have. Now, unfortunately, some people can't handle it, and that's fair. It's a stressful environment. It sucks. I found it manageable. I don't think I'd want to go through it again. I would if they asked me to, but it's in the interest of trying to prevent soldier suicides, which is always something that the military is trying to prevent. There are some training units that have issued stress cards. Basically, it's a card that says, like, I am too stressed right now. I cannot handle what is happening. And I believe. I never had them. I know my drill sergeants talked about them. I think when I was going through, they were starting, like, the idea was starting to be passed around. And my drill sergeants were like, if you ever show me a stress card, I'm not gonna say what they said. It was very inappropriate, though. It's the idea that if you're too stressed, in order to preserve your mental health, you show them a card, and they're supposed to calm down and stop addressing you in such a stressful way. So, yeah. The idea behind it is good, and I think in certain training for certain jobs, it is a good idea. But for other jobs, no. I think that it is, if you can't handle the stress of basic, you're not going to be able to handle the stress of what you're being trained to do. Now, again, the band, if you're a cook, if you're, oh God, why can't I think of any other jobs? Like an aerial photography analyst, you're probably not going to need to be like ready for the stress of, kicking down a door of a terrorist compound. So I understand stress cards for those types of people, but it's a whole thing. Yeah. Now they're trying to reduce. When I was in active duty, and I'm still in the National Guard, when I was in active duty, they were trying very hard to reduce the stigma of getting mental help. So they are working on that quite a bit, but it's a whole thing. That's a whole different conversation. Army mechanic is a great job. Once you get out, the problem is people are like, I want to be infantry, which is fine. Like, you want to do that, cool. But once you get out, those skills are not transferable to almost any other job. Unless you go private security, maybe, or you go like triple canopy, which is basically getting paid to continue doing the same thing, but as a civilian, like, those skills aren't terribly transferable. But if you're an Army mechanic, oh boy, you're getting job offers once you get out, like, for sure. So, yeah, we hold up the stress card to ISIS when we feel stressed. That's basically how I feel. Now, I'm not arguing with it. I think in certain circumstances it is a good idea, but certain circumstances I would disagree with it. So, let's keep going. Get my headphones on. Yeah, so he's clarifying exactly what he is. And hold on a second, he might have just heard ambulance services. So this, I think, personally, without any other evidence, this is what saved him from charges against impersonating an officer. The fact that he came so very clean about all of this. Now listen very carefully.
Do high-risk details protection agency services, funeral escorts, ambulance services.
Ambulance services. Now, many of us have seen his video where he was doing ambulance services for WWE. I love the fact that he brought that up in this, because he doesn't really do ambulance services. I don't know if that was a one-time thing or what, but he calls his BB gun a non-lethal. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you very much. Jeremy calls his BB gun a non-lethal or a less lethal, one of the two. It's not a BB gun. I thought it was a BB gun because the officer on scene said it was a BB gun. It turns out when they actually inspected it, it's a pepperball gun. And a pepperball gun is really cool, and I've been wanting to get one for a while. it shoots these little. It's basically like not an airsoft, a paintball gun. But instead of shooting paintballs, it shoots these little plastics that are filled with OC powder. OC being, oh gosh, good luck me spelling that. OC. What does it stand for? Oleoresin. Oleoresin capsicum is the stuff in OC spray. It's brutal. You don't want to get it in your eyes, your face, your mouth, anything. It sucks. If a police officer says they're about to spray you with the OC spray, I would highly recommend following those orders. I've been sprayed a couple times for training purposes. I've never used it in real life. I've had the opportunity to, and I chose not to because I don't want to subject anyone to it. It's temporary. It's temporary pain, but oh boy, does it hurt. It's brutal. So what that pistol does is it hits, and it hurts when it hits. It's a pain deterrence, and then when it breaks apart, it releases this powder into your eyes and lungs, and it'll stop you. You won't be able to see. You'll have a little trouble breathing, just enough to really make you stop. And once I start going into police use of force on this channel, I'm probably going to buy one, and we're going to test it on me. So, if you guys stick around, if you want to subscribe to this channel, I'm not going to, no, if you want, that's going to be happening in the future, where I have the less lethal devices tested on myself. OC spray. I do have OC spray around here somewhere. Pepper ball guns, tasers. Oh, I'm going to get tased on channel. And I'm going to have to, the plan is for me to have to complete certain things while this is happening to judge whether or not, this is an effective tool to stop me from doing whatever I'm doing. And if I succeed, maybe I get a donut. If I fail, then I have to eat cat food or something. So there's a real reason why I wouldn't want to stop, right? I have a real desire to keep going. So that's going to be a good time. Did he ever serve prison? I believe over the sex offender registry, I think he was in for about 4 years, if I remember correctly. Yes, if I interview Carlos, vet him, I'm going to ask him if he has evidence that he worked for them. Otherwise, I'll make it clear that we aren't sure if he actually worked for them, but still makes a good story regardless. That's that. Don't worry. Credit card pistols. Oh my god. All right, I have to address some of these comments in the chat because they are good questions. Good, Carlos. And I'm not doubting you by any means, but if I'm going to present you as the real thing, I'd certainly like to have evidence. If not, I mean, I'd still love to do the interview. Pepper pots. All right, hold on. There were some good things. The credit card pistols, yes, those ones are terrifying to me as law enforcement. And we had reports. We had like actual reports put together by our there's an office in our police station that like their job is basically to put together reports on the dangers to us, and that was one that came out a few times. They're super concealable. They can fire 1 or 2 shots. That's enough to kill a person at close range. They're a problem for police officers, just because of it's real difficult to defend yourself against someone who wants to use that to harm you. But they're a thing. They're real neat though. I think they're real cool. But so that's a good point though. What you're saying, does that mean that cops can now do cavity searches? Not so much. No, but it does mean that if you have something that is similar to those credit card pistols, and a police officer is doing a Terry frisk because they suspect you might have weapons, and they feel it, now they can go into that pocket. Because a police officer during a Terry frisk, they can't go into your pockets unless they feel something that they think is a weapon. And they go in for the purpose of removing that weapon. So if they feel something that they think is a credit card gun, and they can articulate why they think that, now they can go into your pocket. And if they pull something out that isn't a gun, and oh look, a bag of marijuana, well now you can get charged with that. So the legality of it, of what it will allow police to do in a search, is not going to be as much as a full cavity search. That's something that generally only happens at the actual jail, but it certainly can allow them to find evidence of other crimes more easily, whether or not that's what they're trying to do. Taser versus OC, which is worse? Taser is much less awful. If you have the option of being tased or OC, take the Taser. My personal recommendation. It sucks. I've been tased for 10 seconds before. Generally only goes for 6. One pull of the trigger on a taser will get you for 6 seconds. If you hold it down, it goes longer. Now, they used me as an example. They got me for 10, and it sucked. And let me tell you, one prong hit me in the shoulder. One prong, because the prongs split. One goes straight and one goes at an angle downwards. I forget the exact percentage. One got me right between the cheeks. Right between the cheeks. And the electricity flowed upwards. It was like having 1,000 ball bearings just shot right up my butthole. It was not fun. It was... it was not... Someone has a video of it somewhere. I'm sure. I hope they haven't deleted it. I think I still have the video of me getting OC sprayed for training in the military. I might share that with you guys sometime during a live stream. I have a video of me eating a turkey dinner on Thanksgiving with pepper spray on it, with OC spray on it, just because someone wanted me to do a holiday video. And I was like, I don't know what to do a holiday video on. So I did that. Basically, I'm trying to get myself used to the idea of putting it in my eyeballs for you guys. So, all right. Yeah, Taser sucks a lot for a few seconds, but OC lasts hours. What else? Only did a year and a half. Oh man, I thought he was sentenced to 4. Maybe they let him out early. Yeah, Hard C says pepper spray 100 times worse. I would agree with that. But Taser is very effective to get someone to stop, right? Because if you hit them right, it will lock them up. It won't knock you out. And I've never seen someone knocked out by a Taser, either through the prongs or the drive stun. Ever. I've never actually, unless they have like a condition, it's not going to knock them out. But they'll lock up. Like that. It's a good face right there. It'll freeze those muscles. So, if done correctly. So if someone's coming at you, if there's an issue, it's an incredible tool. It's really good. The problem is it's not super effective. You only get one shot. So it's not super effective if not done properly. You get one shot. If they're wearing baggy clothes, it might not work. Some people, there are certain drugs that, like PCP. If you're on PCP, a taser's not going to do much. A whole thing. So they're great tools in the right circumstances. What does it taste like? It tastes super chemical. It's a terrible taste. I can't explain it. It's awful. Very spicy. Does not taste good. Where I feel like... Yeah, for training purposes, not bedroom antics. Yes. Carlos, I think I can speak for everyone here when I say, can I use you as a reference when I apply for Metro State? Oh, man, that would be fun. Getting shot was part of the training back in the day. I've been shot with sim rounds for training purposes. They're chalk rounds that come out of a real gun. So maybe that's what they're talking about. I've never been shot with real bullets though for training purposes, or in real life. Thank goodness. Yeah.
On and on and on. The list goes
Where
on.
were
Tow
we?
services. That's how you
You're distracting me,
tow
chat.
truck drivers pulling weapons when I tell them to drop
Where was
the
I?
key. It wasn't pulling a weapon. Then Sergeant, if you want to stop, please Sergeant, talk to me.
Please, Sergeant, talk to me. No. They shut him in here and they take him away. All right. So here's the police report that Real World Police requested, which is why I think if I requested the report, I probably wouldn't get much else out of it. Where was I? Where am I looking for? Yeah, it's just 2 neighbors fighting from her balcony as who called the police, throwing chairs at each other. Yeah, and only one person was throwing chairs that we know of. All right, here we go. Charged with simple assault, criminal damage to vehicle, and aggravated assault with a dangerous weapon. That's kind of a big deal. White Hispanic. Huh. But here's basically the explanation of the story. We've seen it all in the video, though. And then the officers on scene at the bottom there, I believe. That's fun. I've never done that in my own personal reports, but I like it. Now, let's see. Location type, alley, assault, aggravated, other dangerous weapon, so on and so forth. Number of victims, number of offenders, number arrested. So he was arrested. Look, number arrested. Bam. He says he wasn't arrested. We know he was. He was taken to the police station, and he was sorry, I just got distracted by the comments again. Yeah, he's taken to the police station, for booking. They released him from the police station. I guess he thought that was just detention. If he was a real police officer, he would know better. But yeah, he told police later in his other video when he was arrested in Florida that he had not been arrested anytime recently, which we know is not true. Oh my God, Nathan, yes. The guy who was walking through airport security and they tased him, he went down very well. And they had, all the time in the world to line up that shot. He just boop. Good video. Yeah, if you ever, guys want to see a guy get tased, that is a good video. The guy going through the airport, he just walks right through security. Incredibly dangerous. Do not do that. And they tase him, and they're fully justified to do so. Anyway. BB's 100 yards, supposedly leaves welts, but it's not lethal. Never was a BB's. Yeah. So, yeah. I've been in training. I have been shot with something similar to what I believe you're talking about, Speckleberry. It sucks. It hurts a lot. The chalk rounds, they'll make you bleed. I actually got an offer. I have a friend who has friends in the local SWAT, and they were looking for bad guys to train with so they could shoot people. And he recommended me. How nice of him, right? Like, hey, you want to get shot at by SWAT? I had to turn them down because I was working that day. But in the future, I've asked them to ask for me again. But apparently they're shooting out. I've never been hit by the sim rounds from rifles, only from pistols. So that's gonna suck. But hopefully that happens. And if it happens, I'll tell you guys about it. At least I'll tell you what I can about it. Yeah, they did try to shout him into submission. They should have just immediately. I mean, they shouldn't have taken so long to tase him. But hindsight is 20/20. They should have handcuffed him immediately after that. Well, depending on if they thought he had weapons on him, there are reasons why they would yell at him to be, to follow their orders and whatnot. But are you allowed to have a Glock 18 on the federal side? I think so. Glock 18 is a pretty the Glocks the Glock 1923 I think are the choices I usually see, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't deal with the federal guys too much, and the ones I did deal with carried SIGs, P228. So I carried a P228 for a while, but the Army doesn't carry Glocks.
Possess a rental.
Oh, Glocks are the fully auto. Oh yeah, no. There are agencies that definitely would not be allowed to have that then. Depends on the state. I like the Blues Brothers reference.
We rented
Yeah, oh my God, if Jeremy Dewitte found a SWAT vehicle, he'd be unstoppable.
a car. A man with an
Alright, let's skip ahead to the part I'm looking for, which is right about here. This is weird. I think this is just a mistake by the police. I think it's like an administrative error or a communication error between the people filing this report. It says that it says special agent here, so I think there's still some confusion. And then it says U.S. veteran. He was neither of these things. So, police sergeant, I have to get back to Florida and shut down I-75 for a senior motorcycle ride at VFW Post 848. I can't miss that. You guys are great. So yeah, so there's this weird U.S. veteran, special agent. I don't understand why they put that there, and I really wish I had more information on it. Oh, man. But it's very weird. I mean, that's basically the end of the video. There's more. This audio you're hearing right now,
In fact, the court system.
that's the audio from his arrest in Florida where he's like, no, I wasn't arrested, nah. And they're like, are you sure about that? And he's like, yeah, they released me and they never gave me a date to show up.
So you do have to go to court there.
I don't. No.
He's saying I don't have to go to court. There's a date on here somewhere with the court date. I don't remember where it was, but it's on there somewhere. Maybe it shows up later. Released to his own recognizance. His bond is 50. Yeah, he has a bond. So there's obviously something doing with court. $1,500. Initial court date, 25th of July, 2019. This happened, I think, on the 9th of July. Let me check my my article here. This was... Oh, no. It was July 1st it was published. So this would have happened the Tuesday before that. So this would have been June. It happened in June. His police date is July 25th. It's on the paperwork. He should have gotten a copy of something similar to this. Maybe not this exact copy. but he has a court date. He has a location. He has a bond amount. Well, it's desired court date. It's not the exact court date. So maybe they're like, nah, don't worry about it. We'll get to you about the court date, and then they never got to him. It's entirely possible. I don't know if he was ever charged fully. If he ever got if they ever actually pursued it all the way to court. I know he was initially charged. I don't know if he has been convicted. I don't know any of that stuff. And maybe he's just like, oh, interrogation room, let me lie to these officers. But he's not a liar that I've seen. He just misrepresents the truth a lot. But when confronted about his misrepresentations, he does tend to come clean. And be like, no, let me clarify. So I don't think he necessarily tried to lie. I think he tried to get away with stuff that he might have known was not as accurate as he was presenting it. But I don't know. Make a meme from his Ghost Rider. I don't know. I hope he gets help. I really do. Is the whole thing. It's the whole thing. Now, I don't think I have time right now to go into the other video, the newest video of him. But I feel like same time tomorrow we might be able to do another live stream if you guys are interested. I'm not done here yet. I still have things to talk to you guys about. But, I mean, the other video is another entire video. It took me an hour and a half to get through this one. So, I don't know. Are you guys feeling... Are you guys feeling like doing another live stream with that video that I haven't seen? And I will continue to not see, so I can see it with fresh eyes for all of you guys. Sometime tomorrow, probably around 3 p.m. my time. Which is Pacific time. Yeah, no, he's fire and roses. I mean, yeah, he says things that aren't necessarily true, but he comes clean when you call him out. He does come clean. All right, live stream it tomorrow. Can you request a court-martial in lieu of NJP? Yes. Since I'll just answer, ask me questions right now, guys, because we finished the video. Yes. See, if you accept non-judicial punishment, you get punished. You can get loss of pay, loss of rank, or extra duty. And if you think, no, I'm not going to accept that because I'm innocent, you can take it to court-martial, and you can go to court, and it is an option. However, if you are found guilty, the punishment can be a lot more severe. So it is an option in many cases to request it, but you want to be sure that you're innocent before you do so. That's for sure. And I'm not sure if every single type of charge can be deferred, or not. Maybe not deferred. Maybe that's not the right word. Can end up as a court-martial, but in general, I believe yes. I've never had to do that personally, so I'm not 100%. I've been involved in court-martials, but for the most part, it's NJP, which is non-judicial punishment. I don't know what else you guys want to know. There's some good questions being asked today. Hopefully my answers were also good. Thank you very much, Nasty Nathaniel. I appreciate it. I'm almost done with your video, by the way, of your bus yard shenanigans. I don't know when I'll be able to post it, because I have a few other videos that I've been editing in front of it. But it'll be out eventually. Oh, yeah, send me the link. Absolutely. Send it to my email. Put it in here. If it doesn't work, send it to my email for sure. Let's see if we can find that thing with where he was looking for Metro State hiring on Craigslist. He never called cop dude. I've been called worse. I've been called much, much worse. All right, where's that? Florida Craigslist. Oh gosh, what area? Was he Orlando? He was saying. I haven't, Gary. I haven't watched Dewitte Gone Wild 2 yet. I'm going to watch it for the first time with all of you guys tomorrow is the plan. Let's type Metro. Police impersonators wanted. Oh, that's right. I want gigs, maybe. How do you handle detaining and arguing colonel who is not the base commander during a traffic stop? I've never pulled over a colonel. I have. Oh boy, there's some people who have. I've dealt with colonel. I threatened a colonel's wife once. I didn't threaten her. A colonel came to me when I was an investigator and said, "Hey, my kids are being bullied in school," and I was one of the guys that dealt with the juvenile issues. So I'm like, "All right, tell me more." And they go, "Well, it's my neighbor's kids, and they've done this, they've done that, and they ran over my kids with a bike. Like they were on a bike, my kids were walking home from school, and they hit them with a bike and actually went over them." I'm like, "Well, that's illegal. Do you want to press charges?" And they're like, "I don't know. I just want you guys to talk to them and get them to stop." So I grabbed a patrol because I was in a suit, so they didn't know who I was. I had a badge, but I wanted a patrol just to be extra intimidating. Went to the house of the neighbors, who was also a colonel. They were both colonels. Knocked on the door. Kid shows up. Is one of the guys who ran over the kid. Goes, "Mom, the police are here." Mom shows up. She looks like one of those California moms that like drink wine and like jazzercise. She looked like she'd be work to have to wake up next to. Like she was fit, but she just looked like someone I would not want to hang around with a lot. And so I'm like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about the assaults that your son's committed." He's like, "I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that." I'm like, "Okay, so I do, though. I know what happened. I have reports." And I pretended I had more reports than I did. I'm like, "I have multiple reports." I only had one, but I told her multiple. I said, "I have multiple reports that your sons have been physically assaulting other children. I have the names of those children. I have where it happened. I have when it happened. No one's looking to press charges now, but that may change in the future if you do not correct your son's actions." She goes, "Well, I've already talked to him about that." I'm like, "Well, I thought you just said that you didn't know what was going on with them." Okay, weird. Don't make me come back here again, or we're going to be having a different conversation. And then I left. And then she called the police station, complained about me. I didn't get in any trouble. And the colonel and her husband were very happy with me. The other ones, the ones that reported it, not the ones whose wife I talked to. The colonel whose wife I talked to was the one that called the station, like, "What the hell is my wife talking about?" And they explained it, and he went, "Yeah, that sounds like her. Okay, thank you." So I've never pulled anyone over. Would I ever entertain the idea of doing a live interview with Merb? It's not because I don't think that it would go well, that I'm hesitant. I don't like Merb. I don't like the way he presents himself. I'm not saying that he doesn't have good information. I think he thinks more highly of himself than he should, based on some of the information that he's put out, which is provably wrong. And I don't get everything perfect either. That's fine. But I'm not presenting myself as infallible as he presents himself. I don't think he really deserves. I've put him on my channel before in a video where as a response to a video he put out. And as much as I'd love to verbally discuss things with him, I wouldn't benefit from it. He wouldn't benefit from it. It would just end up us yelling at each other. So I know no energy drinks tonight, right? I'm kind of awake today, and I don't want you guys to think by any means that I'm scared, because I'm sure he'll hear about this and go, "Oh, he's scared to debate me." No, I'm not. I just don't think he deserves a place on my channel to waste my time. So, Merb is Merb Beast. Merb 34th Street, as I call him. He's a lawyer. He's a family attorney who he is known for having like a cult-like following. Not a huge following, but people use him to justify their actions. And so he'll say something, and they'll say, he's a lawyer, so he must be right. And then they'll go attack. Like, I've had people from his channel come and attack my channel. Basically like, you're wrong because Merb said so. And I'm like, okay, well, why am I wrong? Because Merb said so. Okay, great. And do you know why he says I'm wrong? No, but he says you're wrong, and therefore you're wrong. Okay, well, I've already disproven him. So am I still wrong? Yes, because Merb said so. Like, okay, that's not a great way to think. And I never want you guys to think that I am right simply because of my experience as a police officer. I think that my information should speak for itself. And this shouldn't be the last stop. If you're trying to learn something and I'm teaching something about it, I'm not teaching you everything. All right. So if you want to know more, this should be sort of the springboard to dive into that information. It should not be the stopping point. It should give you an idea of what to look into. My problem with Merb is that he just thinks he's right. And he's right about a lot of stuff. But there are things he's 100% gotten wrong that I've proven on my channel. I'm like, look, he's saying these things. He does not know what he's talking about here. Yeah, leave it. Citation needed. I love calling people out for that. Second YouTube channel has more great videos. Oh, he's put up more videos. Oh, we can check that out. Have you ever wanted to be a cop but I've been rejected over and over? Well, Metro State is looking for you. Have we? Oh, adult that's no fun. It got taken down. Unless that's facetious, which is, in that case is absolutely hilarious. Let's yeah, no, Merb, the professionalness of him, I don't really appreciate. And if you guys ever act like Merb's followers and just start attacking people that I personally don't like, please don't. Please don't. I mean, I can't control it. You do what you want, but don't think that I am advocating. If I talk about a channel like, look at this weirdo, what are they talking about? Don't think I am then encouraging you to go harass the person. If you feel the need to do it, that's on you, but it definitely is not coming from me. Just throwing that out there. All right, where was I? All right, let's look at Metro, see what else. See if they've got anything else good up. Nothing that I haven't seen. You said there's a second channel though? Oh, is this the one where is this Officer CPR? Okay. Well, I mean, good for them. They did CPR. That's good. That is good. Where was I? How can they release the videos on Jeremy? I guess because it's not going to hinder their case, probably. I don't really know how the release of information works. I was never in charge of releasing information. That went through a different department. I can only assume it's because there's no real reason not to. It's not going to, the evidence is already out there. They already have all the evidence. They're probably not collecting much more. I think they've already gone through. What is going on right here? They've already gone through all the videos, so they're just releasing it as people request it. And so as Real World Police is requesting it, they're like, yeah, we'll send it to you. Oh man, yeah. I every time a new video comes out, I'm just boggled. I love it. Oh, thank you very much, Nasty Nathaniel. And it's not that. Maybe someday I will debate, but he has frustrated me with the manner in which he conducts himself. I'm just not interested in dealing with that. Now, I would like to have professionals to discuss things with on my channel. The problem is getting them to want to come on my channel, right? Because I've discussed, like, one of the things that Merb and I have discussed is 18 U.S.C. 795, and he takes a very hard stance against it. And he points out some good things. There's a lot of stuff that he mentions as reasons why he thinks he's correct that I have proven to be incorrect. And I've talked to prosecutors. I've talked to a former prosecutor, a former county prosecutor about this, and they have confirmed that as the statute stands on filming a restricted military installation, there is enough that a person could be prosecuted for it. So far, no one has. which is basically his argument is no one has, and you couldn't because it would be unconstitutional to apply that statute to someone who's filming from public property. That is one school of thought. There are many schools of thought regarding this. Merb is one of them, but many attorneys and even some judges don't necessarily agree until it actually goes fully through the court process. And so far, not only are there no convictions, there are no acquittals either. It's never gone all the way through. We won't know for sure how the ruling goes. And so I understand his argument, but he's making an argument based on his personal beliefs, and they don't, although there are some solid ones, they don't match every attorney. And him as a family lawyer, I hesitate to believe that he knows more about constitutional law than, an attorney or a judge who's trained in constitutional law. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've never been through law school. He has. He passed the bar. I have never passed the bar, so I can't say for sure how much training he has. And I don't want to assume that he doesn't know what he's talking about based on training or lack of training. But I don't know. His information isn't consistent with every attorney out there, although there are attorneys that agree with him. There is still a significant amount of debate. And for him to go, and I will admit it freely, is I've taken a side of this argument that isn't 100% solid. But no side of this argument, when it comes to filming a restricted military installation, is 100% solid. And having reviewed a lot of information, I think my side is a little more established than the side that he's taking. Someday, I assume, the statute will be removed. And that is fine. I am not arguing that will not be the case. However, what I am arguing is currently it has not been. And as long as police have qualified immunity to enforce that statute on someone who's filming from outside of military property on a traditional public forum, it is still technically illegal. So, but different schools of thought. It's a whole thing. Why would a local government prosecutor want to take on a federal niche case? Yes, that is a very good point. Generally, they wouldn't. The thing is, even federal appellate courts end up disagreeing with each other. Merb's opinion is one of many thousand attorneys. That's exactly it. And again, I'm not trying to say he's wrong. I'm just trying to say that he is putting out information as if it is 100% accurate, and it's not. Now, do I have a perfect argument? Of course not. Do I have a fairly compelling argument? I like to think so. I was compelled, and I've been researching this for a year, and arguing with people about it and discussing. I've known about the statute for much longer than that, but I've done a huge amount of digging. I'm following certain cases right now. I've been I've requested documents. I paid for documents from some of these cases just to get the best information I could regarding it. But that's the whole thing. That's a whole different topic. Let's do it if YouTube attorneys. No, I'm sure he's good. I'm sure he's a fine attorney. I just think that he's making arguments. I don't like the fact that he's arguing and using the fact that he's an attorney to be like, that's why I'm right. I don't like that, because even experts are wrong. Even I am wrong. As a police officer, I still get things wrong. And so I don't want, I say this over and over again, I don't want you to think that I'm right because I was a police officer or an investigator. I do not want you to think that because of this, I was right. Now, I can give my opinion on certain things. I can say, this is how I have personally experienced things. This is how I've interacted with the public. This is what I have personally seen. I am a first-hand source of information in regards to that. But when I'm discussing legal topics like this statute, that statute, this case law, I don't want you to think, oh, well, he's a police officer, so he must have interpreted that correctly. Go and read through it yourself. And if you think that I've gotten something wrong, let me know and we can discuss it. And maybe I have. It's entirely possible. My problem is if I said this to Merb right now, I am fairly sure he'd be like, well, you only throw in those disclaimers because you know that you don't know what you're talking about. No, it's because even experts get it wrong. And I would hate to be putting out misinformation about a topic that I think I'm right about. There's no valor involved. It's good. I like that, Jimmy. Nathan, what were your comments? What were your comments? Hold on. Yeah. No, I'm not reading that out loud. but I appreciate them. All right. Well, any other questions? Because I have some exciting news for you guys. Let me give a second for the video, because there is a slight delay between me saying something, you guys hearing it, and then it appearing in the chat as you respond to it. So, any other questions before I give you some exciting information? That sounds like a no. Oh yeah, is Officer Dewitte watching this? God, I hope so. Oh, I hope he sees this. Well, I hope he sees my original video on him, because that actually does have some pretty good information. I mean, he won't like it. He won't like that I called him out for his spelling and grammar. And for those of you on my channel who keep saying, like, oh, that's very immature of you calling out his spelling and grammar, oh, I don't like to do it that much. But the fact is, he's doing what he's doing because he has incorrectly interpreted a statute. Like, really incorrectly. Which requires a pretty good grasp of the English language to interpret statutes correctly. We know he doesn't have a very good grasp of it, or he just doesn't care. So either he doesn't have a good grasp on it, which probably contributed to his misinterpretation, or he doesn't care, which is also a pretty big problem. His website is the public face of his company. He has had those spelling mistakes up there for years. That is a problem. Either he doesn't know he's wrong, or he doesn't care that he's wrong. And either one of those directly translates into, the mentality of him just doing the wrong thing. So, yeah, is it childish that I called him out? You could say that. Is it relevant to the discussion, though? Absolutely. All right, so the good information. I just broke 1,000 subscribers. I have, thanks to many of you, and you watching this Dewitte. Like, the Dewitte thing is what really did it for me. I have the required amount of hours viewed to monetize my channel. I have YouTube checking it right now, see if they want to monetize it. And I don't know if I'm going to monetize it right away. If I do, I'm going to be donating most of that money to charity. And we can discuss on stream what charity to donate to. I'll donate it on stream. Why not? If I'm making money. Now, it's not going to be much at first anyway. With your continued support, of course, this channel will continue to grow. But I want to use the money basically not for personal gain, but to support the channel, to pay for new equipment. There are new microphones that I want for my other videos. This one's great for live streams. But if I'm out doing interviews, I want different microphones I can hook up to other people that aren't hooked directly to my camera, like all that stuff. Why donate it? Because I have a job. I have a real job. I didn't start this channel with the intent to get rich off of it or financially gain any significant amount. I'm not trying to be, the next, who's popular now. Markiplier is one of the biggest ones now. Or that kid who has made money, like, just unboxing things. I'm not trying to be one of those. I made this channel to have legal arguments with people online. When I made it for a few reasons. But a big one was I was tired of typing in the comments like, no, you're wrong about the law. Here's actual information. Respectfully, lots of love. Tell your family I love them. Sergeant Blue Bacon, right? I just kept typing out the same thing over and over to people who didn't understand. I'm like, I can just make a video about this. And then I can just link the video. And I can directly communicate this information to people more efficiently. Because I think this is stuff people should know. As a police officer, I was very interested in making sure people knew the law. So, I started the channel, and then people were started watching, and went, oh, people actually care. Neat. And I still targeted people I knew weren't going to like my content. I targeted auditors, the First Amendment auditors, and that was for attention, to get people to see the channel, and because they were the ones that needed to learn. Some of them, not all of them. Many auditors are really great, but there are enough of them that are doing the wrong thing. I'm like, I need to get them this information. These are the people who need it. I targeted them. I started to, people started to subscribe, and it was pretty cool. And then this Dewitte thing happened. I got like 400 subscribers in 2 weeks, 2 weeks, which is incredible. Thank you guys so much for that. But now I have the option of doing it, and I have a plan. Now, before I tell you the plan, I want to address some of the comments. I'll thank you so much, CB Women. That's great. How do I use a double action pistol? I hate it. I hate double action pistols because that first shot is real tricky. Now it does make you pause. You have to. Yeah. So your options are either take your time, or don't take your time and hope you don't miss. Or when we used the I had the Sig P228, which had the hammer, and we used the Beretta M9A1, I think it was, which is also has a hammer. So if you pull that back, then it's single action. So that was an option. But yeah, did I hire Metro State to escort me home this evening? I would never. I would never. Why donate it? Oh, I already answered that. Because it just feels weird to make money off of this. Something where I'm just trying to help people. And I'd like to donate. I've wanted to donate money for a while to certain charities, and I think it'd be really great to use this as a platform to make that happen more. Yeah, don't donate to his legal fund. No kidding. Yeah, I never remember to use the microphone anyway. You're not wrong. I'm not used to having it. I'm not used to having this arm. I love it. I love it so much. I'm used to having it on a stand. Donut Operator, he is an inspiration. He's one of the reasons I run the channel like I do. I like Donut Operator. My problem is he tailors his videos to people who are already pro-police. Same with Mike the Cop. Mike the Cop does a pretty good job of explaining things to people who aren't pro-police, though. I think. I haven't seen any of his videos very recently. When I was in, I watched some of his videos, and I was like, oh, cool. My problem is no one was targeting anti-police people and trying to, or people who were on the fence about whether or not they like the police. I wanted to give out information to people who needed it, who weren't pro-police. And I'm not saying be pro-police, but I'm saying there are certain laws you probably should know about, and rejecting that information isn't going to help you. Like, please, let me give you this information. And so I wanted to put out more information than Donut Operator does. Like, Donut Operator puts out good information. He doesn't back it up with sources too much. So when he discusses law, there's a lot of times he doesn't really discuss law. So I put up the statutes. I put up the case laws. I do a lot of research into this stuff because I think that there's just a hole that isn't being filled by some of these other people who discuss police activities. And that's nothing against them. I think they do a great job. But I felt like, maybe I can fill in this gap and be useful in that way. What's wrong with doing a personal gain? It's just a personal choice. I have a real job when you get hired by Metro State. What do I do for a living? Similar to what I did as a police officer. I'm not going to get too involved. Last time I gave people too much information. They contacted my place of work and tried to harass them. And I'm not trying to let that happen again. So I'm going to be a little mum about exactly what I do. You know what? No, I'll be honest. I'm a moonshiner. I run illegal moonshining across the border. That's not true. No, it's similar to what I did, though. But it's not something I really want to discuss, just for my own personal, I don't want to say safety, just for my peace of mind. I don't want people contacting my new job and being like, look at this guy, fire him. Sorry. Let's see. Institute Justice. Institute of Justice, yeah. To the children. Yeah, Donut is biased. Donut, I'm biased as well. Don't let anyone tell you differently. I am biased. But I try to present it a little less biased than he is. That's one of my problems. He's so biased. And that's fine, right? Cool. He's biased, but we know he's biased. And I'm biased too. But I try to look at it a little more neutral. Yeah, I try to be more educational and entertaining. I still try to make it entertaining. And some people have called me out, like, stop doing the voices. Stop having fun with it. Like, no one's going to watch this if I'm not having fun. I want us all to have fun. I want us to learn by having fun. But I still want you guys to learn. So, I've gotten distracted again. Regarding the earning money off the channel, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. But then I found out I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gary Ridgway, Green River Killer. Anyone? He holds the record for the highest number of convictions for murder within the United States at 49. Now, as a serial killer, he doesn't have necessarily the highest body count. Like H.H. Holmes could have had up to 200 to 300. I know that Sam Little, police believe, probably killed up to 80, but none of them were convicted for anywhere near what Gary Ridgway was. Yeah. So, I found out that his whole operation happened pretty close, within driving distance of where I live now. Like, I'm driving distance to the house where he strangled women. I have been doing a lot of research. I found, like, the places where he dumped bodies, where bodies were found. I know only 49 convictions. He claims he killed at least 71. He's like, I know at least 71, but I lost count. So, somewhere around there. Yeah, if you guys are still around, I mean, watching this and putting an input about this, I know this is a long stream. But yeah, so the Green River Killer is near my area, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to go to his house, try to interview the person who lives there, maybe interview neighbors, find the body, or not the bodies necessarily, but the sites where the bodies were dumped, maybe dig around for bodies, because there are still bodies that are undiscovered, that they believe were killed by Ridgway, that he's confessed to, and they think, yeah, no, there's reason to believe that this is true. This person was missing, and they match the description of the people that he usually, killed. So there's still bodies out there, and I thought maybe I'd do a little investigating of my own, see if I can find one. I mean, I probably won't, but I definitely want to find the sites where the bodies were found, and make it like a whole thing, where I go and follow his path. But I want it to be a kind of a decent production value. I want different microphones for my camera. I might get a stabilization rig for the camera. I might even get an aerial drone for some of the shots. Like I've been thinking about this. Like that'd be pretty cool. Investigate. I mean, he's already caught, so I'm not catching the dude. He's already caught, but not all of the bodies were found. So maybe I'll find a dead body. Probably won't. I don't think I will. Don't think that I'm going to find a dead body, because it probably won't happen. But I can definitely. I've been doing tons of research, and after this, I was thinking about going to a public library and doing a little more research, because there are some books I found referenced that I want to get more information from. And Robert Carley, you're right. Gary went back and had sex with the dead bodies later, after they were like rotting and stuff. And the reason he did that is because he had these. Oh man, his history is crazy. Not to give you spoilers, but this has been out for a while. He wet the bed until he was 13. And that is a common sign in adolescence for people who, like, if serial killers, there's a trifecta. They have parent issues, they abuse animals, and they wet the bed until a late age. So that's like the trifecta in adolescence for determining whether or not they're going to be a serial killer later in life. Now, Ridgway wet the bed until he was 13, and his mother, after each incident, would wash his genitals, would like scrub him down. He didn't like that, but at the time, it developed weird sexual feelings for his mother, which definitely contributes to his weird feelings towards women. He loves them, but he hates them, and there's a whole psychological ball of yarn to unravel there. He did deploy. I think he stabbed someone when he was 16, too. They survived, but like that's obviously a problem. He deployed in the Vietnam War. He's on a patrol boat. He did see combat. He had sex with a lot of prostitutes there. Got some STDs, or STIs as they're called these days, which helped develop his hatred towards prostitutes, I'm sure. Came back to the Washington area, Washington State, and apparently, according to his 3 wives, wanted to have sex all the time, like 3 times a day, which is a lot. I mean, I don't know about you guys, that's a lot, I think. And so he would go and he'd find prostitutes and have sex with them because he just needed to have sex all the time. Eventually, he got tired of paying them because that gets expensive and just started murdering them and then dumping the bodies. And he would return to the bodies to continue to have sex with them because what he said was, like, look, if I kill too many of them, there's a good chance I'm going to get caught. But if I go back to the bodies, it reduces my urges to have sex with other prostitutes and then kill them. So it's not that he liked necrophilia. It's not that he liked having sex with the bodies any more than having sex with living people. He didn't prefer it, but he's like, it reduced the urges to go out and kill again, so I kept doing it. And eventually, apparently, he started burying he would just dump bodies, but he started burying the bodies because he started to enjoy having sex with the dead ones, I guess. He's like, the urge became so strong that I had to bury them so I couldn't come back to them. They didn't have blow-up dolls. I'm sure it was the power he had over them. He killed them almost exclusively by strangulation, I believe, which is a big... it's like a power move, right? You have power over them to kill them with your own bare hands. Speckle belly, but probably not repeatedly, right? Like, this is a significant issue for him. So, I think that would be a lot of fun. So, some of the money is going to go towards, if I monetize it, which I think, having realized that the the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway, was in my general area, or near my general area. I think that's going to be a good motivation for me to monetize. I might start a Patreon, just if you guys want to support it directly. And it's going to be a good time. I still have a lot of research to do. I've actually filed a request for information about the case from King County, which is the county that investigated all of this. So I've requested any information that will lead me directly to, including maps, investigation statements, or investigator statements, anything that will lead me directly to the site where bodies were found, any statements made by Gary Ridgway, any video recordings of interviews, crime scene photos. I've requested a lot of information from them. We'll see if they comply, because it is still an open investigation, technically. They caught the guy, but they're still looking for the body. So it's an open investigation. I don't know how willing they will be to share it. I know it will be expensive. We're talking like 10 cents a page. And the amount of information that they could send me, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being like $100, which I will pay. I would pay $100 to have copies of the police reports. 100%. Maybe I'll write a book and earn that money back. It's... Yeah, he certainly makes Dewitte look normal. Let me check my email, as you guys were saying. Gmail. What? Oh, that's his number. Is that his old number, or is... God, it's late, though. It's going to be 8 o'clock in Florida. I don't think he'd pick up. I don't know. You guys think I should... No, because I'm going to have I need to borrow someone else's phone, because I want him to have my number. I'm not going to call him today. I'm going to figure out a way to call him with someone else's phone. Because he wasn't contributing anything to the chat and amused me to do so. I only blocked him for 300 seconds. Just the automatic amount. There's another email. Hold on. Oh, that was from Carlos. Is that Carlos's number? Good thing I didn't read that out. I don't have an email. Boop. Let me check. I don't believe I have an email yet from you. I know, I'm thinking about buying a burner phone for like just $10-20. And then using it for these types of shenanigans. Not because I'm trying to hide my identity, but I'm not gonna use it to harass him or anything. Oh no, I'm gonna be super polite. I'm gonna be like, excuse Mr. Dewitte. I'm gonna do a voice. It's gonna be great. Try to pretend I'm fancier than I am. Mr. Dewitte, I'm from the media, and we've heard some interesting reports about your activities, and it's very one-sided against you. And we thought that it would be useful for you, and certainly for us, to get your side of the story, because certainly I feel that your actions were justified, and I'd really love to hear what you have to say about it. Something like that. just for fun. Maybe I won't do the voice. I don't know. And if he talks, he talks. If he doesn't, cool. We lose nothing. So, yeah, talk tactical to him. When you were filling out Form 31, Charlie, Section 2, what name did you put? Just start making stuff up. Yeah, call him officer. Oh, that's a good choice. That's a good thing. I like this. I like this plan. We're putting together a plan, gentlemen, ladies, everyone in the chat. I like it. This is gonna be good. Anyway, so tomorrow, guys, 'cause I do have to go. I'm gonna find my phone, see who called me, like an hour ago. Call him Chief. Yeah, because he had the 2 stars on his uniform. That'd be fun. Oh, that'd be so fun. All right, tomorrow, 3 p.m. my time, that specific time, I'm going to try to do another stream. If that changes, I'll try to put that information out on my Twitter, I guess, which is @SergeantBlueBacon. But it should be 3. I don't think I'm doing anything at 3. But, yeah. Good stuff. If you guys want to watch more of his shenanigans. So, I'm going to get out of here, though, because I got stuff I need to take care of, and it's around my dinner time. It has been an absolute pleasure doing all of this. You too, Hardsty. And I love talking to you guys. This is great. It's so much less work than putting together a video. Doing all the video edits, and I mean, I love it. But this is just, I just love being able to talk to you guys directly. It's great. Anyway, but that's enough rambling from me. You guys know the drill. Until the next time, be good, stay safe.